You're listening to the Oracle Talk Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sabrina Carpenter.
I'm Dasha.
Hey, I'm Billie Eilish.
What's up, guys? I'm Camila Cabello.
Hey, this is Tate McRae.
I love this station.
I love this station.
You're listening to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. On the Oracle Talk Radio Network. Broadcasting live in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
If it's unexplainable, we're talking about it.
Whether you're a believer or a skeptic,
we cover everything where the unknown becomes the known.
And now, here are your hosts, Jennie Nicasio and Tom Callway.
Welcome to Chasing Prophecy, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jennie Nicasio with my fabulous co-host, Tom Callway, on the Oracle Talk Radio Network from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, PA. How's it going, Tom?
Good. That's a great intro. I like that one. A little new, fresh.
Fresh.
Changing it up, everything. But yes, I want to thank everybody where they're tuning in from, whether Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, all the streaming sites. You can find us here on the Oracle Talk Radio Network or subscribe to Chasing Prophecy. And for past shows, subscribe to our Patreon or on Spreaker and become a member of our wonderful network. And I just wanted to throw out there, Jennie, next week on Beyond the Radar, I'm going to be having a kind of a State of the Union, State of the Paranormal Union.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I just came to me today, and I was going to talk to you about it. It'll be an open live, hop in Friday night, 9 to 10 if you want to, and the Nerd Informer guys, they'll probably hop on, and we'll just talk about the paranormal world and where's everything at right now at this moment. Where are your thoughts with this? Where are your thoughts with that? So just throwing a little pub out there for next Friday, 9 to 10 Eastern.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be fun.
Absolutely.
That, guys.
Oh
my! I'm sorry.
We got a call in. This isn't a call-in show, but we have a call in. So
I should put him on the air.
Yeah. What do you want? Just tell him.
I forgot to tell him.
Yeah.
I apologize, folks.
No, all good. But we have people in the comments on Holly. Good to see you checking in. Very good to see you. Thank you, and thank you for responding to the invite. I was the one who sent that out because of our very special guest, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. But Jennie, the inauguration was this week. It was moved inside. And, I heard a snippet of Donald Trump saying that he was going to put out, and you sent it to me, he was going to put out some information about those drones, huh? Let me ask you.
I've been waiting for that. It didn't happen yet. So when is he going to do it?
Do you think, one, he'll do it, or two, if he does do it, how long do you think it'll be?
Well, Donald Trump said he's going to do it. He's going to do it. I have no doubt in my mind about that. So I have no doubt. He just has to figure out. When he was in the Oval Office, did you remember on Inauguration Day, he was talking to Peter Doocy, and he said, somebody, did Peter ask him about the disclosure? And about the drones. And he goes, well, he doesn't even know what they are. So he has to be educated on it. So.
And here's where my conspiracy hat comes in. I think the president knows some of the least amount of information on Capitol Hill for most governments, not just for ours, because you have that plausible deniability. The CIA director doesn't go on late night shows. The FBI directors don't go on TV shows. They don't have a press conference. But you know who does? The president. Always. So being that figurehead, if you can't share what you don't know, and that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I'm looking forward to it. If he does it, I will be disappointed if he doesn't do it. So,
and I hear you with that, because look, I'm in one of the hot spots. I'm outside of Westchester, Pennsylvania. It's still going on. They're out there right now. They're out there right now. Again, I can't tell you if it's, because I do believe in the multifaceted idea where some are, UAPs and legitimate UFOs, and some are our own tech. I do believe, there's both of them up there. But for right now, I mean, somebody posted in our Westchester page, and Westchester's my local community Facebook page. There's a Black Hawk helicopter, down more southern, than where I am, but they're flying around tonight. It could be a drill, but why haven't there been drills before? So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't understand because there's so many going on. I mean, there's so many different videos. I mean, it's all over TikTok. I see them out of my bathroom in my skylight, it's kind of crazy.
I know that, like, a little privacy. When we get to Rebecca, we'll have to tell her to tell them to give you your some privacy. They can't be looking in through the skylights.
Hey, before we get started, I'm trying to find the link, and somebody asked me for the link, and I can't find it. How do I tell them to find it in the YouTube? They can't find it anywhere.
Oh, just search at Oracle Talk Radio Network, and it'll be live.
Okay, he was trying to look on Chasing Prophecy. Let me see if I can find it on Oracle Talk Radio for him. I'm just having a hard time finding it. I never can seem to find it. Is anybody else having a hard time out there? Okay, I see it I see it easy on. Okay, I found it. I just have to find the link. Okay.
Technology,
Yeah. I'm not really, I don't know if it's my age or what. I'm just having a hard time lately with technology.
That's all right.
But it's cool. That's cool. So, yeah, we're going to play a video of our guest that's going to be coming on. And so you get an idea of what she's all about. I mean, I got to share it though. Okay, let's go into StreamYards. I'll get this right someday. Share the link. Okay.
There you go. I think that's what
You
you're looking for.
The Akashic Records.
She got over 2 million views on this.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm an extraterrestrial contactee.
I don't know why that thing's in the middle.
A psychic medium, and I work in the Akashic Records, and my job is to help you along your spiritual journey. It's 11:30 at night where I am. I normally would never post at this time, but I was communicating with the Galactic Federation, and they were really encouraging me to come on and share a message. And if you have any idea what that's like, it's like having an itch that you can't scratch. There's no way I could have gone to bed if I didn't share this message. So many of you who are following me and following the stories around disclosure know that in the last couple of transmissions that I've brought through from the Galactic Federation, they have talked very clearly, communicated very clearly about their ships being in position to reveal themselves at close range on our planet. They're here. They've come through portals and also physically traveled through space to be here. I can see them. Like I can see the positions of them. It's hard to identify the exact geographical locations, but I can see them in my mind's eye, almost like remote viewing the Earth and the positions of these ships. And so they were talking about revealing the first ship, and they're going to be revealing one ship at a time. They were talking about revealing the first ship mid to late January. And they have told me, I was feeling it earlier, which is why I tuned in. I was like, they have shown themselves. Why aren't we seeing any news about it? What's going on? So I just connected with them and I'm like, what's the deal, guys? What's going on? And they have revealed their first ship. It is the most that I can tell you is that it is at a naval base, a U.S. naval base, over a large body of water. So there are many of those. I have narrowed it down to the location. I asked them if it was correct. They said yes. They asked me not to share that to allow the military time to control the narrative around disclosure, because the Galactic Federation and our extraterrestrial supporters do not want to interfere more than they feel that they need to. They want to lovingly give us the opportunity, the military, the United States, the opportunity to begin the disclosure dialogue. And I asked them, why one ship at a time? And they specifically said, so as not to create fear. You don't want, dozens and dozens of large ships at close range showing up all at once. Many people will be in fear of some sort of alien invasion. They just keep reminding me to share the message that they do not come for any other reason than to support us in our ascension as a collective.
I don't want to play the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and enter. Oh, what's that going? Oh my God. Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
No.
I just want to make sure you can't. Can
Yeah,
you hear that?
I don't hear anything.
No, I just want to make sure you can't hear it. Okay, so Rebecca's a gifted psychic medium with a profound connection to spirit. She channels various galactic beings and collectives, including the how do you say that?
Pleiadians?
Pleiadians and the Galactic Federation. With 18 years of experience running her own behavior therapy practice, Rebecca blends her formal education and behavior analysis with her special gifts, and she's also a certified Reiki practitioner and a skilled reader of the Akashic Records. Wow, that's amazing. So welcome to Chasing Prophecy, Rebecca. Can you get that? Okay.
Yeah. There we are. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi guys.
Hello. Great to see you.
How are you? Thank you so much
Good.
for having me. Thank you.
No, thank you for being on, and in such short notice. If people don't know, this all came together rather quickly, so we
Yeah.
appreciate your flexibility.
Absolutely.
Very quick.
I'm happy to be here and share the information as much as possible.
That's well, thank you. And so let me start off. One thing that you said in your video there, right, is that there was, there's information, between you and who you channel that you're not allowed to say. Is it permanently not allowed to say, or you're just not right now, you're not allowed to say?
So in that particular video, at the time, they were still in negotiations between themselves and the military. And
Okay.
so to as not bring attention to their location, they asked me not to share it. But since then, I have shared the location on my TikTok. So it's very well known that the naval base that they were referring to is Pensacola Naval Base in the Gulf of Mexico off Florida. There are hundreds of videos and photos since I released that information. The Galactic Federation had given me permission, I believe, 2, maybe 3 days later. It was a very quick deliberation process, I guess. And basically what they have said since then is that they are no longer holding faith that the governments, the military, the powers that be will begin a disclosure discussion that is factual and accurate. I go into that in some other channeled messages on my page as well. So,
Cyber Demon wants to know what do they look like?
So the Galactic Federation is a collective of star races, star beings. So it is it's a representative body of the entire galaxy. And so there are many, tens of thousands of star races that the Galactic Federation is representing. So some of them look human and some of them look very not human. So, and there are different beings in different seats or positions, I guess, on the Federation.
Okay. Good answer there. If I could just mention a few alien civilizations that I'm aware of just in my local, research and things, will you be able to tell me yay or nay whether they are on this Federation?
Yep. I should
Okay.
be able to.
Arcturians.
Oh, yes. They're pretty much responsible for all of the technology, all of the craft that the Galactic Federation use.
Okay. I'm going to make an assumption that Pleiadians.
Yes, I'm actually a Pleiadian starseed.
Oh, excellent. Love
Yeah.
that. You're now the second starseed.
For someone doesn't understand what a star seed is, could you give us a
Oh,
brief
yeah.
description of what one is?
Yes, you guys ask such good questions. I love it. I love answering questions. So, a starseed is a soul whose consciousness originated off planet, not on Earth. So that usually means that we have had many, many galactic incarnations. And so there is a pretty strong presence of starseeds on Earth right now to bring in higher vibrational energy to help Earth with its ascension. So that's moving from a 3-dimensional consciousness to a 5th-dimensional consciousness.
Okay.
How did you know you were a starseed?
It was a process. I definitely didn't wake up one day and I was like, "Oh, I'm a starseed." It was definitely a process, and I think that it unfolded with me becoming more of my psychic gifts coming online, more of my channeling, and really the telepathy, which has been allowed me to ask very detailed questions and get very detailed answers. But that certainly wasn't something that was online right away. It took some time. So.
Okay. So you had to know about you first before you could even learn about all of that,
Yeah, I guess so. That's a good way to put it. Sure.
Yeah.
Where do you find these Akashic records? I mean, how do you can you look them
They
up?
are,
Yeah.
think of
What
it
library?
as a library, but it's energetic. So it's an energetic library of information. And in the Akashic Records is every soul's story. So if you think of each soul having their own book in that library, if I were Jennie to go in and access your Akashic Records, I wouldn't just be accessing Jennie's Akashic Records. I would be accessing the records of every incarnation that your soul has ever had, and also every experience, every emotion, every soul contract.
Wow.
All of that. And the records don't only hold souls records, they also hold records of locations, buildings, planets, animals. I mean, all of that. So it's all energy, and everything is energy. So there's information in everything.
Okay. Let me ask you a question to that. It might be a tough one. Isn't that unfair to this iteration of my soul here, that I say I know you, you read my record, and you're on this planet to do this because this is what you need to learn? Isn't that unfair? Why do I
Right.
get that advantage?
Yeah, why
So
can't I look at it?
there are ethical considerations that any record reader should be following. So I would never access someone's Akashic Records without their direct conscious consent, first of all.
Yeah.
Secondly,
Okay.
your spirit guide teams and your higher self know what you want others to know and what you don't. And therefore, I may hit a wall in your records because on some level, I'm being prevented from seeing the information. So you actually see a lot less going into the records than you might think. For example, if there was a lesson that you needed to learn in figuring out what your next career move was going to be, I wouldn't be able to see the ins and outs of what getting to that career move would look like because it would ruin the lesson. So there's those kinds of things that we see in the records very often.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good way to put it. You might have the book, but only the first 3 chapters are highlighted for you.
It
something like
depends.
that.
And pieces. I would say we can see from beginning to end but there are pages ripped out on purpose. And then as time goes forward, those pages may be put back in. We may start to have more access. So one of the things that I'm
Okay.
noticing now is that I'm getting more and more information around disclosure in the records because we're at that point. And so it's time to share. It's time for people like myself to be able to access this information in a way that will be helpful to the planet.
Okay. All right. It's a very good way to put it. It seems, with disclosure, right? It's not coming. We're here, right? We're here.
We're here. We're
Okay.
here. I think that people are waiting. Humanity in general, we think in very much black and white. If I don't see a crystal clear picture up close of a craft, it's not real.
True.
It's not happening. And so there's a lot of resistance to disclosure right now because of our limited, more primitive way of thinking. And I'm not trying to be derogatory or judgmental. It's just our limitations prevent us from, and we also don't connect energetically to these beings naturally. And so we don't have that inner intuitive compass to guide us. It's something that the state has purposely driven us away from through indoctrination and all of those kinds of things, because they don't want us to have that light, have that power of being able to see for ourselves.
Cyber Demon wants to know, why were you given access to it?
So in my soul contract, or my blueprint, which is every soul has a plan for their incarnation prior to the incarnation. And in my contract as a starseed, I specifically came here basically to be a psychic, to be able to access this information and share it with the collective. My soul wrote into the plan, for example, that I would be able to do this so that I could pay my three-dimensional bills, right? So there's all these little kind of nuances that we create. It's a very complex, but very methodical, very calculated plan that each and every one of us have. So I came here for this exact purpose. It could have been another starseed, and there are many other starseeds who have these kinds of psychic gifts and things like that. But when we reincarnate into lower dimensional realms like Earth, when we're from higher dimensional realms, we have an energetic predisposition where the veil is thinner for us because we're bringing that higher vibrational energy down with us. So that's one of the reasons that all of this stuff came very naturally to me. And I had to go and do any training or meditation retreats or, anything like that. So I set myself up for it.
Okay.
Rebecca, there's so many of you guys, light workers, on TikTok. I mean, I've watched them. You're all saying the same thing. Do you guys ever connect?
I mean, I have a couple of friends who are channelers, who I've met along the way for sure. But we don't. It's more of like a, hey, we're friends because we understand that our day-to-day in the office is talking with aliens. It's not, it's a little bit of a different kinds of occupational hazards and things like that we deal with, I guess. And there's a relatability there that is really hard to find. And especially when you are first kind of awakening, it is extremely lonely because the majority of the planet is not awake. And it is really hard to relate to other people. And it's not just all rainbows and unicorns and, sparkles. It's intense healing of trauma and karmic cycles and stuff that we have to move through in order to have that, that big sort of push through, that energetic sealing.
A ton of shadow work.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments. So I'm trying to go in order down so we can get everybody's.
You're bringing them out tonight, so thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cyber Demon says, so you share beliefs from Dolores Cannon?
So I would just correct that they're not beliefs. They're just facts that we both were able to have access to.
Oh, wow.
Myself
Okay.
and Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon was extremely gifted. I mean, she did hypnotherapy, past life regression, and this is where she learned a lot about extraterrestrial races and things like that. But I wouldn't call them beliefs. It would just be that access to that channel. It's the same channel, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, I'm going to go back to Joe's here because there's a lot of people that I've heard this from. I don't know what my plan is. Speaking, maybe not just to Joe, but to those type of people in general that'll listen to this in the future on podcasts. If you really are, an adult, right? Not a kid anymore. You're an adult and you still don't know what your secondary plan is. I know I have to work and pay bills, but what else am I here for? What would you recommend to them?
I would recommend a shift in perspective, because if
Okay.
you're alive, you're living the plan. No matter what it is that you're going through, no matter how small or how big, we don't recognize that the experiences we are going through are experiences we wanted to have. We wanted to experience the challenges, the issues with relationships, the addictions, on and on and on. It doesn't have to be this big, grand thing that we're here to do. Our souls are very humble. Our souls don't need to make a big, grand gesture. And it's about the experience that we bring back to the soul after the lifetime. And because the soul is as highly vibrating as God is, I mean, as high as you can get, having an experience on a planet like Earth is wildly unique and very attractive to the soul. And I know that sounds like it makes no sense, because I'm sure we all have been like, I'm never coming back here again. We've all had that moment, where we're like, I'm not doing this again.
I'm still here and I'm saying that.
Right? Totally get it. Totally get it. But it is an honor to walk through those challenges when you see things from the perspective of the soul.
Okay.
So there is, I mean, you can always certainly go and get a reading. You can connect with your spirit guides. There's different things that you can do to get more clarity on the lessons that you're here to learn, but we always have themes. On Earth, there's always karmic cycles that we are involved in higher dimensional planets. There is no karma. So there aren't those dense experiences that to have. So it's love and light, right?
Yeah. Holly has a good question. Would the aliens protect us from nuclear war?
Yes. So the Galactic Federation has actually shown me very clearly that they will not allow for the use of weapons of mass destruction on the planet. And in fact, I believe that many of them have already been dismantled by the Galactic Federation. If we were to use the amount of weapons of mass destruction that we have on the planet, and this is from the perspective of the Galactic Federation, they said that it would have a ripple effect throughout the entire galaxy. And so at that point, like, they have to intervene, or they have had to intervene. They are a no interference organization. They respect the law of free will. The reason that they're coming here is because our free will has been taken away from us, our sovereignty. But when it impacts the rest, when it impacts others in such a profound way, this is when they intervene. And this is their purpose, is to ensure that the law of free will remains. So there will be no nuclear war. I know I'm hearing a lot of talk about World War III, and that's just it's not going to happen. It will not be allowed to happen. There's a 0% chance.
So Cyber Demon wants to know, so if we choose to be here by our Earth contract, what does that do to religions such as Christianity?
I don't understand. What does that do?
So
I don't
if we
understand the
choose to be
question.
here by our Earth contract, so if we choose to be here on Earth by our Earth contract, What does that do to religions such as Christianity?
So I think what he means is one trying to disprove the other.
Yeah.
Well, I can answer it by saying that religion historically and currently on the planet has been used, not all, but the purpose of it, the motivation behind it originally was to be used as a means to control, and to instill fear in large groups of people. There are large parts of the Bible that are wildly inaccurate, and that was on purpose. There's also the book of Enoch, which has been totally removed from the Bible, which really connects us to our galactic, families and our galactic history that's been here, that was brought here to Earth. It misses the Human Genome Project, and how our DNA, we are an experiment, really. Earth, not an experiment that they wanted to just kind of go, well, we'll just see what happens. They really wanted to bring in high vibrational DNA from a variety of beautiful star races to see what they could create, and here we are, and we're actually ridiculously powerful, but we've been oppressed because the powers that be don't want us to recognize what we have been made to be. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know what else to say.
it's a conversation that we've had with many people throughout both of our shows, whether together or not, Jenny and I. And when you talk about what let's take the Galactic Federation, right? What they believe in is principles of love, enlightenment, mutual respect, and all of that. And religion is man-made. Spirituality still instills that same love everybody, love and tolerance, all of that.
Absolutely.
They don't have to. People want to say, what, like in your black and white scenario, that it's either this or this. But, if you keep an open mind, both of those can fit in that world. You don't have to throw your beliefs away for anything.
And I certainly believe that religion can serve a beautiful purpose still.
Absolutely.
If it gets somebody to God, if it gets somebody to source, whatever you want to call it. It's just that, the Bible, for example, has is obviously very tied to the teachings of Jesus Christ and all of that. And I'm not a Bible expert by any means, but what I can say is that, Jesus was a soul that came down here with the purpose of reminding us who we were and who we could be. And it somehow turned into do this or you don't get to go there and be that. And that's very inaccurate. I mean, I'm a medium. I see how
trying
things,
to do that.
Yeah, I see how things work on the other side. We don't get to the other side and have to kneel down in front of our Savior. We are reporting to our souls. And we have a life review at the end of every incarnation, and we don't look at things as sinful. We look at things in terms of what could I have done that would have brought more light to this situation. And there's no, guilt or shame around our behavior, the way that we are learned to be guilted and shamed ourselves, here on this planet.
Yeah. I mean, we're children still in the grand scheme of things, human,
The Galactic Federation actually they use a lot of metaphors that kind of fit into our pop culture. It's quite funny. Over time,
I would love an alien to tell me pop culture.
So when we were, they know everything. It's really wild. And the ones that are working directly with us have studied us for a very long time. So they know a lot about those kinds of things. They'll even use like little, jargony phrases and stuff sometimes that I find hilarious. But they likened us with our nuclear weapons, for example, as handing a loaded gun to a toddler.
Yeah.
And not teaching them how to use it, absolutely totally irresponsible. And so that's so, and they literally showed me, I know this is kind of weird, but like a toddler being handed a gun and they're like, this is what you guys are with these weapons, right? You guys are not suited to be able to handle this stuff. You make really poor decisions for the collective.
So on the topic of, we were just talking about religion. Cyber Demon says, so is it possible saints, angels, demons, Jesus are interdimensional beings?
They are. Jesus is an interdimensional being. He's a Syrian from this galaxy. He also has spent a significant amount of incarnations in the Pleiades. He's ascended now, though, like he's considered an ascended master. And so he's evolved on the soul level beyond the need for incarnations. He's learned everything he needs to learn in that sort of stretch of his soul's journey. So he's not incarnating anymore. He's supporting the souls in this universe now.
Very interesting. Yeah. But Jenny, you were on that train of angels and UAPs and aliens being interdimensional rather than extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's what I think that they are.
Yeah, they're definitely not. I mean, some of these beings have had galactic incarnations. The angelic realm, they don't typically incarnate. It's not very common for them to have incarnations. Their role, as they were created by Source, was to be guides for large numbers of souls. So they kind of just have a different design, I guess, if that makes sense.
So what messages has the Galactic Federation or have they said yet recent? What was the latest message?
So the one that I channeled yesterday was really interesting. And I went on live on TikTok afterwards because it was the energy behind it was very different. The energy had shifted. And
in what way?
I'm going to explain this. So
Okay.
it had shifted from there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear. We're going to do this slowly, and they're still there. So that's not changed. But what has shifted is it's almost like two different beings came in. And sometimes it's hard to know, are they speaking as a collective? Is it one being? Because there are different members that will come in and they have different energy. They have different tones. They're all benevolent. But it's like I got this love message, loving light message about you guys are in fear. We feel it. It's okay. And you can go on my TikTok and watch it. And something switched and it was like this military energy of we are moving forward with disclosure. We are no longer waiting for your military. We can see that they are not going to take the appropriate actions that we have laid out before them. You can do this on your own in this way, or we're going to do it. And so that whole discussion happened over the course of about a week. And then I channeled this last message. And when I say channeled, I do channel through and do word for word. So the one that you showed at the beginning, that was me talking about the conversations that I had. I also post messages where I am literally just word for word what their words are. And so I'm channeling that completely through. That was the last message, was a channeled message like that.
My old co-host Sean Kelly is in the chat, and he says it sounds like Metatron. And it says, "Should I tap into my contacts?" He actually can communicate. Do they have message for me? Just asking.
Pittsburgh Paranormal.
Do you want me to really ask them if they have a message?
John, do you have you want him to? Do you want her to ask?
I can ask.
Go ahead. I think. Yeah.
While we're waiting on Sean, let me go to that loaded gun thing real quick. We weren't handed a loaded gun. We made that gun.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
It's different. But I got the idea with the metaphor.
No, totally. I was trying to read between the lines, or did somebody give us that gun? Did somebody give us that technology?
So that's actually a really interesting question. What I'm getting is that the foundations of our nuclear weaponry technology, I guess, is based on extraterrestrial tech,
Yeah.
but we developed it in a way that is, they're using the word reckless. I guess it's not safe. It's not tested. It's not regulated is a word that they're using.
Okay. Okay.
So yes and no.
Fair enough. But looks
Sean
like
said
Sean
yes.
does. Yeah.
He wants his message.
Okay, let's see what. So they're giggling. The Galactic Federation is giggling because we're talking about them and they love us so much. Like, it's just.
I still
feel-
can't get over the pop culture stuff.
Oh,
If you
it's
have
really
I want to
funny.
hear a Pleiadian say like no cap or whatever the kids say nowadays.
Like, I remember asking them once, like, when I meet you in person, will I, which I haven't, by the way, will I be able to see you with my eyes? Because there's a vibrational mismatch, right?
Mhm.
And so, and they said, when the time is right, yes, we will be there with bells on. And every time I revisit this conversation, because I'm like, how close are we? Like, when are we going to be able to meet? You know? And they said, patience, patience with bells on. And they always kind of bring that back when we revisit. That's just one little example of something they would certainly not say where they are, right?
Okay.
Okay, so Sean Kelly. So they're just acknowledging that I don't know if you're like directly having a spiritual practice or meditation, but they are acknowledging that they hear you. They hear you when you are trying to connect. Also, there's this energy that they're showing me around not necessarily knowing if you've connected or not. And they're saying you have every single time you connect, as long as you set that intention. So.
Oh. All right.
Here you go, Sean.
There, Sean.
Hey,
Lovely.
I have a question. Are you in communication with Ashtar Command?
I have spoken with Ashtar a couple of times.
Wow.
And I'm talking about Ashtar the Pleiadian, not Ashtar Command, which I think are different. My understanding is that they are different. Only because one of my clients has Ashtar is one of her Pleiadian family, and so a guide. And so he came in during a couple of readings. And so I was able to communicate with him. So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. Okay. Now, the Galactic Federation, it's a bunch of different races or species, I would say. And now, what about Valiant Thor? Is he still alive? Is he still is he still a living creature?
Who did you say? Sorry,
Valiant Thor?
I don't
He
even know.
supposedly Valiant Thor was one from one of these Galactic Federations, and he went to talk to Eisenhower.
Oh, I don't even know about this, but I can ask them.
Okay. Ask. I want to know if he's still around, because there is documentation, and if you Google it, you can actually see actual footage. There was a hearing with him who he claims that he is Valiant Thor, and he's from the Galactic Federation, and he came to Earth to talk about peace, and this is during the Cold War, I guess.
Body. He's in a human
in a
body.
human body, yes.
The being who shares a soul with that person is still connected to the Galactic Federation because the soul is in the galaxy, I guess. But it doesn't look like there's like an active role right now. If anything, it feels more like an advisory type
You got the picture of it?
Yep.
situation. Yeah, okay, let me look at this.
I thought he had dark hair.
So they're saying he's here, but he's not involved in the same way. So there's this energy of like he's more of an advisor than like an active member voting member, I guess. Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but they're
No.
acknowledging his existence. And was that him or was that the same
I think I don't
soul?
know if that's him. I thought Valiant Thor had dark hair.
Oh, I was just asking them if
Oh,
that
okay.
No,
was
no, I'm
him.
sorry. That was
Here
okay.
he is. I have a picture. Let's see. If I
Yeah,
can-
Valiant Thor was the guy speaking, and the guy in the circle was actually Oscar Schindler. So
He said he's a Phoenician. Here, I'll
Venetian or
pull him up.
Phoenician?
Phoenician.
From
Oh, he was the
Venus.
delegate of the High Council. Was the Galactic Federation ever called the High Council, or is that just
There's
an
a lot of
interpretation?
so I'm hearing the Council of Nine, which is a different
Yes.
kind of diplomatic collective that collaborates with the Galactic Federation, but it feels like they have a bit of a different role. Like it doesn't feel as political.
That's what he looks like.
So what they're telling me is that whoever this, because this is, again, guys, this is the first time I've ever seen this
Yeah,
picture
but
or
it's-
this story.
No,
But what
it's
they're telling me
wonderful.
is whoever this soul that incarnated into this body, this guy's body,
Okay.
is the same soul that, or the same consciousness, therefore the same soul, of the being that they're showing me is connected to the Galactic Federation. So I guess the answer is yes. I guess the answer would be yes. He's still there. I don't know if he's like, I feel like he has a physical body. I'm trying to see what it looks like, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to see it because it doesn't look very human. And one of the things that they're starting to do with me is show me more races that are really not human looking to sort of desensitize me
Yes.
to that, because it's going to be a slow progression. Once the first extraterrestrials actually step off their craft, they're going to be probably Pleiadians. They look like humans, right? Tall, blonde humans. But then we're going to get the Arcturians who are blue, and then we're going to get the Syrians who are sparkly, you know, and then we're going to start to get avian beings and felines and things like that. And so they have been preparing me now to look at some of these beings, and it's intense, guys, to see them.
Would we see insectoids, or they're not alive?
That was another one that they showed me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You know,
they're
that's
actually
been
very
a popular one in
intelligent.
South America, actually, pretty recently, post 2000,
Yeah.
have been those types.
Yeah.
And we had a man who was on here, a former MUFON person, who one of his latest reports was an insectoid in Pennsylvania,
They're
which
pretty
you wouldn't know.
involved. They're pretty involved in Earth. They're one of the sort of core races that are quite involved in Earth right now.
Okay.
So did we lose her?
I don't know.
I was trying to mute myself. I want to cough.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
all that's
so
good, but she had
different
enough with the
ones.
insectoid. She was out.
Well,
They're pretty, it's intense. Like when I get the visual of some of these, I realized as they started showing, this was fairly recent, like in the last month, that they've started showing me these different races that are on the craft, because I've been asking them who's on the ships that we're going to see. I want to know who's on them. And
so
lots of
are
people,
they going to actually just show themselves and they're going to come down?
not their bodies. No. So this is the thing that I feel like a lot of people misunderstand. And even channelers, they're hearing us talk about the crafts are revealing themselves. And then they put on their page, the Galactic Federation is landing. And that is not what's happening. We are not vibrationally ready for them to land on our soil. That will be probably 2 to 3 more years of vibrational uprising, up leveling before they can actually land on soil. This is going to be a very slow disclosure process to prepare us.
I get a question here before we get to Bruce's. Is it going to be like that movie District 9 where they'll just be here in the sky for a while before they even come down?
Yes. So they're going to, and they're already there. So they're just stationary. And what they've told me, I asked them about the particular ship, because there are many on the planet right now, that's in the Gulf of Mexico, which is one of their mother craft. one of the largest ones that they have.
Can you give a rough size if you know? Like
What's that?
Can you give a rough size?
It's hard.
Like
They're
miles
laughing at
long,
me.
hundreds of feet long?
They're laughing at me because I tried to figure out how big this one was. It's at least the size of half a dozen football fields, I would say.
Okay.
Like football, like regulation size. They have much larger craft. They have country sized crafts. They're not bringing those down right now.
All right.
So are these drones that we see in the sky? Is that them?
No.
No,
those are meant for distraction. They're connected to Project Bluebeam. This is one of the reasons. What?
I love that. Yes. Jenny and I have been speculating. No. We've been speculating about that. You know, when everybody getting, aliens are coming. And Jenny and I have been cautiously telling people, hey, you know, there's some bad stuff going on.
Some of them are connected to Bluebeam. They are one of the reasons the Galactic Federation told me recently that they've decided to move forward with sort of not relinquishing the control of the disclosure discourse to the military is because the United States government and some other powers around the world, one of them's in England, one of them's in Italy. These larger, and I'm just used to talking on TikTok, so I always talk in code because I'm going to get shadow banned if I say the wrong thing.
You can talk anything you want here.
The Vatican and the royal family,
and the
right?
royal family, yep.
And then, of course, the United States, right? So these three big sort of density areas. So what they've basically said is we will do disclosure, but they want to push the fear agenda that we're being invaded, that we don't know what the agenda is of the extraterrestrials. And that is a lie. They know that these guys are the good guys. They're the bad guys, right? And so they're trying to flip the script. And the Galactic Federation has made it really clear to me. And that was this like energy of like, we are moving forward with the truth. We are not going to allow you guys to be in the dark anymore, because when we don't know the truth, we can't make informed free will decisions, right? We're being controlled. Okay. So, that's basically where they're at.
Did we answer this question?
No, I was going to get back to that. Thank you for bringing that back up. Bruce asks, who else currently has communication paths with these alien beings? Is there a requisite? Like who has that ability?
I don't think there's a prerequisite for it, but
is it only Pleiadian star seeds? Or
there are many channelers across the planet right now. I'm probably one of the ones in sort of the first wave of awakenings that has really connected and honed in on the gift. But there are many, many channelers across the planet, and most of them, if not all of them, are starseeds. So they have that galactic channel that's already sort of been made, right? So it's just about tapping into it. The government also has remote viewer programs and things like that, governments across the planet, not just the United States, where they're able to gather extraterrestrial intel, I suppose. And so they're very, very clear. They have definite, ways that they can communicate if they need to.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that answers Bruce's question. I'm going to throw Nicole's up here real quick. Let me get, that's not it. And hopefully the Nerd Informer guys are watching, because that's a joke for when we did a special, we measured UFOs in the size of Walmarts. So
I do. If I could just clarify, because they're talking in my ear right now and they're saying, I didn't really answer that totally accurately the way they would have wanted me to, which is the who can connect with them. Anybody can connect with the Galactic Federation or any of these benevolent galactic collectives you may not receive the information in the way that I do, for example, but they are sending that energy, that loving energy back to you. They maybe are going to come to you in your dreams. They might come to you visually. You might get a feeling. So it's not like we're not, the channelers aren't gatekeeping the ability to communicate with them. They want the collective to reach out to them for support.
Okay. Now this might be a little like a black and white question, but let's go back to religion real quick. When we want to talk to God, we pray. Is there a certain way to communicate with the Galactic Federation or any higher light being or any, is there a certain way to do it, or no, you can do it anyway?
Prayer is a great way to connect to the higher realms. But really connection is just about setting the intention to connect. That's all it is. And it's the self-doubt that gets in the way of us believing we are connected and we are receiving information. We want to hear it. We want to physically see it with our eyes. And that is not how the majority of the universe operates. It's a very low vibrational way to see truth. So it's just about setting the intention to do it. There isn't a wrong way to do it.
So, okay. And you're right. We want to see and hear clearly, third dimension. We want to see all that. Let me just ask for anybody else out there who might be wondering the same question. Well, how do you know then? How do you know if your intention was met?
Oh, I love that. I love that question. So the more that you practice, the more shadow work you do, the more love that you embody, the more your discernment comes online and you start to be able to notice the subtle changes in energy. So what I do as a psychic is I work with energy. I understand energy in the slightest detail, right? And so this is something that we can all naturally do, but we have learned to move away from it from birth, basically, right? So we are all energy. And so it's just about removing the layers, shadow work, like you said, to be able to access who we actually still are. So it's not as easy as, well, if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. You have to tune into that energy and that discernment and learn how to experience energy and understand it.
Okay. Let me get to Nicole's question here. Can she tell me what the lights I see? What are you talking about, Nicole? What kind of light?
They're just showing me small craft that have been in her area. I don't know if she's on like either an ocean or a lake or a larger body of water, but they're particularly connected to the water there and being over the water. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing, but they're small craft and they're benevolent. They're fine. That's
really impressive because Jenny and I know that Nicole lives in Southern California. So, wow, that is really good. Yeah. We didn't bring you on to fact check you, but you just fact checked yourself. So the great job.
It happens eventually when you keep talking to me.
One thing I want to get back to here real quick before we go is Jenny and you were having a wonderful conversation right before we went on air about your about her son having an experience when he was 6 years old, and the feeling that he got was bad, was more negative. And you were talking about certain things maybe our government had done. Do you want to go ahead and I guess recap that?
Yeah, so this always is really heavy on my heart because I know I've seen these kinds of experiences many times with people. So it did, as soon as, Jenny started talking to me about it, I immediately felt the Zeta Reticuli energy, also known as one of the sort of races of gray aliens. And it did feel like there were some experimentation or DNA samples taken. I don't know that it was super, super comprehensive. And the reason I say that actually is that I did a reading earlier today, and she was repeatedly, this young girl she was born in 2000. So she's 24, 25.
Yeah.
Was repeatedly experimented on to the point that she developed learning disabilities. It really impacted her brain. That doesn't feel like that happened to your son. It doesn't feel like it happened to that extent, Jenny. I do think that it does, particularly, it's directly related to the anxiety that he has. So I don't know if he's really struggling with that right now, but any spurts of anxiety that he's had, that you may have, noticed over his life, there's an energetic connection to this experience. And yeah, there was an agreement, like I was saying before the show, between this particular group of extraterrestrials, the Zeta Reticuli, and the United States government. And I know you're in the US, I'm in Canada, but particularly the United States government, to allow for the abductions and experimentation on American citizens. There was a particular advantageous, or I don't know how I would say this, but they were particularly interested in people with specific bloodlines. That's not to say that they didn't just choose random subjects, which they did, but they're particularly interested, for example, in Rh negative people. That's one strand of extraterrestrial DNA that they were interested in. It's not the only one, but it is partially, so they had different kinds of things that they were looking for when they were doing these experiments. And it was sanctioned by the United States government, which is unfortunately very unfortunate to come to realize. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Thank you for recapping all of that. Before we let you go and to answer, Joe's question, I put your website as a link in the chats for all of our different streaming things, but social media, any other thing you would love to promote, please, the time is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you guys so much. So yeah, my website is kind of half under construction, but you can find all my social medias through my website. You can also just find me on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. I'm at in.the.akasha, AKASHA. And you'll see my face. I'm there. And you guys are just amazing here at this show. I can't believe I didn't know about you before, because you're so organized and everything looks so great, and you ask amazing questions. So I really enjoyed this.
Please refer anybody that you have to us. We'll be happy to have them on. We make social media clips of this every week. So whatever I make, I'll send you the rough copy. You can do whatever you would like with it. And Jenny and I it hasn't even been a year yet, Jenny, has it?
No, not for us. I've been on since 2019, so it's been a ride. But Tom and I,
we've been
almost a year. When did we start, Tom?
February, March, something like that.
You're almost at your birthday.
Yeah,
right?
We're almost there. I came from Labeled Paranormal. Sean Kelly, who was here, was a co-host of Jenny's, and we've just been doing it.
Well, you guys, your energy is just so laid back, so down to earth, which is my kind of vibe. As down to earth as we can be, right, guys? Given
that term's going to change, isn't it, soon?
It really is. It's funny. A lot of our language is going to change based on this new reality that's kind of unfolding in front of us. So, but yeah, you guys have just been so great. Thank you so much, Jenny. I'm so glad that you found me.
Yeah, I was listening to you for a while.
Yeah, there's stalkers on there, so don't worry.
I stalk people.
It's hard to keep track on TikTok since that video went viral. I can't keep track of my messages. I won't go in the comments. My inner child doesn't like it. She
Fair
doesn't
enough.
want to go into the comments.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, it's been great. So, and I've met some amazing people. I have another live on TikTok not on TikTok, on YouTube on Saturday with an astrologer friend of mine. So
Cool.
any way that we can like get the information out is important, right?
Yeah. Send it to us. We'll put it out there and we'll share it when it happens.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Hey, no problem. You have a great night.
Yes.
You too, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
She's a cutie.
Yeah, it was wonderful information. We, thank you so much for the chat too. Great conversations, great, great feedback. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. A great show. Great
Mhm.
show.
Great show. Are you cold, Jenny?
I'm freezing.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's like an ice box in here.
I
With all
know.
these crazy noises and people.
What were
speaking
you?
on me.
What was your high today over there? Because it was pretty damn cold over here.
It was like, what was a little bit warmer today? I thought it was. I was freezing
Thank you, Holly.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holly.
It's
Yeah,
24 right now.
No, it's like 11. So
It was
it's one of the rare times over us on the east side is colder than you guys over there.
Yeah, it was snowing. They got a lot of snow in Pensacola.
That's what I was going to.
Florida.
I forgot to ask that, but yes, she talked about Pensacola, and next thing you know, for the first time in history, they have like 9 inches of snow.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah,
Makes you think.
coincidence or not, but I can ask that when she's on that other show. Yeah, no, she did good. You don't have to rub it in, Nicole.
Well, she's at 61. Oh, you got 5 or
Yeah, enjoy the smoke.
You got
At least we can breathe over here.
You got earthquakes.
And there drops off all of our California views. Oh man.
Yeah.
So Jenny, anything fun for the weekend before we get out of here?
No, just gonna hang out with my dog.
Yeah.
Pretty boring. Just hang out with my dog and just do whatever I do. Get,
Well, yeah.
get some sleep.
I will be watching my Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday, so that'll be fun. Joe, 17, where you are. See, Joe, you're like in between both of us. I think you're like Central PA, right? Something like that. Which does get cold up there. I had friends. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing.
Yeah,
I'm
you use
tired.
clear protein water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 earthquakes in Virginia not too long ago. Really?
was one. There was one that was
Today with their earthquakes.
I don't know about today, but I was in the one on the east. That started in Virginia like 8 years ago, maybe probably like 10, 11 years ago. It was the first ever earthquake I was in, only one I've ever been in. And one thing I never will forget was the sound, the moan that the earth made.
Oh, well, we had one here once. We had one here, and the chandelier, we have this huge chandelier, and it was woo, woo, woo. I was working, I felt my whole desk move.
Really?
Yes, it was scary.
That is scary. So you're northeast, Joe. Okay.
A few days ago, well, you know what? I had a premonition that California was going to get a big one. So, but
She did. You did. You told
but
me.
it was
about
right.
how long
But
ago?
you got the fires. That's why I might have got my connection off.
Well,
it
it's
was
still a
right
disaster.
It was right before the fires.
Do you remember our friend Margie K from a few weeks ago? She was on.
Yeah.
I noticed she put up that
Was there one in Missouri?
No. She remote viewed the fires in California in the future. And
Do you
said,
really want a remote view fire? I'm afraid I'd get
I
caught
know.
in it.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. But yeah, look at Joe. Look at that. Hanging with your dog is a perfect day. That's right, Joe.
Especially Ava.
Yeah.
She don't have much time.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't be sad. See, why'd you have to do that? You're gonna get yourself going. Oh,
No,
Ava's a saint.
that's okay. She's nice. Yeah, she's not a saint. Believe me, she's not a saint. But I want to know. I was texting Sean. Well, he was texting me a little while. Are these people? How do you know if you're really talking to them and not somebody else?
Faith, energy. I guess, it's a great point. It's a great point because I've never done it. So I can't say, what I mean, one way or the other, what it's like, but you're right. How do you know it isn't something trying to trick you? Because I've done paranormal investigations. You've been on a couple. So has Sean. Quite often, the more harmful the entity, the sweeter it makes itself. Like if you see a child in a haunted house, don't go to it. You know what I mean?
Or go to a flea market and pick up a duck that says, "Put me down."
That was our highest rated in 2024, that story. That was our highest viewed clip ever.
I know. It happened. I'm not kidding you.
It said, "Put me down."
I believe in Jesus and having connected to other worlds. I believe in Jesus, and I
Yeah, I do
believe that
too.
he is when he ascended into heaven, he went to his other planet, which is heaven is another dimension or another.
Exactly. That's exactly what the cosmic law of one is.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah, that's what these Galactic Federation are trying to instill.
But they're driving a spaceship, and they have the invisible cloak on them.
Yeah.
And what did they? She says they don't have bodies.
No. She said no. She said that they're not ready to show their bodies.
Okay, so their bodies are on this ship, and they're like on Star Trek, sitting behind. They see this big.
I don't know if it would be that, but they're up on their ship because that's the vibration that they're on. We have this vibration that we're on in the third dimension, and there's not a path to cross from one to the other quite yet. You have to raise the medium vibration. Sort of like if you look around your room right now, you see everything. But if you open your eyes underwater, you see blurry.
Okay, but what about all those ships that people see and the pilots that see the ships and they go into the water? Oh, how come they can see them? And they said they have to wait till the vibration is a certain. But how come they saw all these?
Well,
ships?
I don't know this for a fact, but my guess is, all of those dark energies, the what is it? The lizard, the reptilians, all of those lower vibrational energies, the grays, the reptilians, all of those type of things, they're lower vibrational energies, which means they don't need that shift. They're already here. They're already within our realm of 3D. They don't have to, they can move about freely. They can change shape. They can disguise themselves. Those are the ones that are already here looking to cause harm. Just as angels can be interdimensional beings, so can demons. So I think when people see and have negative experiences, like with the grays, most commonly, which are controlled by the reptilians, I think that would be, I think that's where you have a lot of those smaller ships, the ones that you have. Which is sad, and part of her story which is why they want to intervene, because we're only getting that side of the story of the Project Bluebeam of, no, you don't want them coming down here. They're going to invade you. That's why, because now they're taking free will away from people. But just my thought. Like I don't know. Deke, do you guys do readings? Neither of us are. Well, I can't speak for you, Jenny, but I don't do.
I mean, I can. No, I don't do readings. I have premonitions and stuff like that, but I don't do readings.
Yeah,
I used to do readings until I became a Christian. I was always a Christian until I really started to follow my faith.
But Deke, if we ever have a psychic on, I'll remember you, buddy, and we'll send you a
Sean used to do them. I don't know if he still does it. She does. The guest does.
Oh
I
yeah, the
believe.
guest did.
I'm pretty sure she does.
Take a look at our page, Deke, and she'll be on, I'm sure, again.
Okay, folks, time to go to let my dog out to go by.
All right. Well, it was a wonderful episode. Jenny, thank you again for allowing me to have these experiences with you. It's been very amazing.
Satisfying.
Yeah. And next week we have a Bigfoot guy, guys. So get your cryptid questions ready. You know, we'll have
this guy that's called the big, what's his name?
Ron Hawes. He's a Bigfoot investigator.
I like to hear cryptic stories.
Yeah, I do too. I'm always a fan of the out in the woods stories. I love These Woods Are Haunted. I don't know if you've seen that show. There's like 3 seasons of it.
The what?
It's called These Woods Are Haunted. It's on ID Discovery, and it's stories of people who had stuff out in the woods. And there's a new one. I'm gonna shout this out, Jenny, too. Before we go, you got to watch it. It's called Paranormal Emergency, and it's stories of either EMTs, nurses, or police officers, and they share like. Only time in my life had I have a call that was paranormal, and they would talk about like, I don't know, like shit flying off the walls, and it's about, and you hear 911 calls on it.
Jesus, that would be scary.
It's pretty.
I don't like stuff like that. They scare me.
Some hair of the Bigfoot. Yeah, right. Yeah, Bruce, check back next week. We'll see what kind of evidence this dude has.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
I'm sure he has a lot. Okay, folks, it was great having you in the chat. We love you. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Yeah.
Find the ending.